Nicole is the perfect example of how easily the trauma that someone experiences as a kid can be transferred onto their own children, and how identifying where that trauma comes from is the only way that you can break that cycle.
Also, look at the Patreon, link in the description.
The episode The Fridge is centered on Nicole and Gumball, the former wanting to instill a competitive spirit in the family and going through extreme lengths to do so, and Gumball disagreeing with their actions, which end up causing more harm than good in his eyes. It starts with Nicole asking everyone what they achieved in that week, and based on said achievements, putting them on a leaderboard on the fridge. She's extremely critical of everyone, not even giving Anais's scientific discovery the highest ranking possible.
Oh, that's very good, Anais. That puts you on the sunny cloud, just below the star, where I am for beating everyone at the company paintball day.
Wasn't that supposed to be a team bonding exercise?
I'm sure they all bonded in the hospital.
Pretty much everyone is negatively affected by Nicole's lack of acknowledgement for their achievements, which is going to cause the main conflict of the episode. What really sets off Nicole's character here, though, is Gumball flat out admitting that he didn't achieve anything in that week, and on top of that, not really caring about it anyway. This makes sense because pairing someone who has the drive and determination that she does with someone who genuinely doesn't give a fuck if they achieve anything is going to lead to some conflict. She takes this lack of drive extremely personally, and she makes it her mission to give Gumball some drive to succeed. She wakes him up at the ungodly hour of 4 AM to teach him how to be a winner. She goes through extreme and honestly quite funny lengths to teach him this so-called winner's mentality. He takes him to the grocery store in nothing but his pajamas and forces him to scrap with this old lady over a discount chicken. Spoiler alert, he loses.
So, how does it feel to win, son?
Don't know. Oh yeah, like an old lady hitting me in the face with a wet fish!
But that's not the point. The point is, Gumball in this situation was willing to concede his position and give the chicken away. He didn't care about it, but Nicole forced him to stand his ground over an issue that ultimately wasn't going to affect him negatively if he didn't stand his ground. This makes sense, as Nicole has never been one to just give up on any situation. When she feels she's in the right or deserves something, she will not quit. And while she may find it difficult to instill this in Gumball, the rest of the family is much more easily convinced.
Stupid! What's stupid about reaching for the stars? Dodgeball! Boom, 1 point! Boom, 2 points! Boom, 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 boom!
Okay, I gotta talk about how disrespectful this is. Not only did Darwin knock the insomnia off Gumball's face, he hits him a total of 11 times in this scene. He probably even hit him more than that because the episode cut away from that to the next scene. I don't care how much sleep I got the previous night, I'm throwing hands with this nigga on everything. Anyways, Gumball raises these concerns with his mom, who once again reiterates that competitive spirit is a good thing, and it's important that she teaches everyone in the family how to have it, which is exactly why she drops Gumball off in the desert and forces him to walk home.
She'll be back.
When he gets back, the house is in a mess. Darwin and Anais have both crashed out, and Richard is barely hanging on to any semblance of sanity. All of Nicole's actions have led to the family turning on each other for the sake of validating Nicole's own goals for them. Everyone is jealous, competitive, and angry at each other because they've been told that winning is all that matters. At this point, Gumball's position is being proven right, but the episode throws a wrench in that by giving Gumball his mom's approval.
Not bad.
Feels good to win, doesn't it?
Despite this, he stands his ground on the matter and still opposes how Nicole's actions have affected the family. Everything comes to a head when she organizes this paintball outing for them and Gumball makes a deal with his mom. If he wins, she takes down the chart and all of the competitive stuff stops. He quite literally has to do what his mom wants him to do in order to stop everyone's obsession with winning, which I thought was actually a pretty neat way of writing that story. And after what is a pretty cool paintball scene, Gumball pretty much has his eyes on the victory, but before we put an end to this episode, I've actually been ignoring the most important aspect of Nicole's character when it comes to her competitive nature. Why is she the way she is? And to answer that, we have to go back to her childhood. The Choices shows a young Nicole going through much of the same treatment from her parents that she's currently giving to her kids. Her parents are shown to be extremely critical of her and rarely showing anything resembling affection and appreciation for her achievements. They put her through a crazy amount of activities and expect nothing but perfection and success. I hope you're noticing the similarities between her and her parents. That's not the extent that they show Nicole's parents being shitty though. As the parents delves deeper into this topic, it's shown that out the womb, these expectations were placed on her. Her parents literally named her doctor and put her in a suit. This is the main reason she moves out of her parents' house as a teen and pursues her relationship with Richard. She doesn't speak to them for 25 years because of the amount of pressure and lack of affection she was shown. So it's clear from those 2 episodes that she's gone through some very traumatic things with her parents, but why would she put her kids through the same things that she went? Well, I think Nicole, despite despising her parents for what they did to her, still to some extent appreciates the fact that she has a competitive spirit. If she didn't, I highly doubt she'd be able to take care of her 3 kids. And Richard. They had a good idea in trying to make their daughter a hard worker, but they overworked her and didn't show enough appreciation to her. The thing with generational trauma like hers is the fact that often we don't realize that what we're doing is exactly the same as what the people who traumatized did to us. If I can use myself for an example, I cringe out my fucking skin every time I do something that reminds me of any negative experience with my dad. Never ask me to help you fix a car, I might just have a Vietnam flashback. It's such an easy trap to fall into, and it's much harder than it should be to break out of said cycle. Thankfully, Gumball was there to call her out on this, and while he may not have known the full reason as to why she was doing this, he still is the one who makes her realize that what she's doing is only going to lead to the family feeling resentment towards her later on. God forbid one of her kids going as far as isolating themselves. I've seen people say that Nicole was pretty bad in this episode character-wise, and while I can see why someone would feel that way, with the context of the whole show, this actually might be one of my favorite Nicole episodes in general, and it strengthens the bond between her and Gumball. It's not a dynamic that's focused on too much in the show, so it was nice to see that it was used in an episode that sheds light on a lot of Nicole's character and personal experience. Overall, Nicole's character is a great example of how easy the cycle of generational trauma is to fall into, but also how important it is to break.
I'd rather be a disappointment to you than live like this.
What? Gumball, no. I just saw your potential, that's all, and I wanted you to reach it. Just take the flag, my little trooper. You've earned it.